don't know if you know this, but we just experienced the biggest market liquidation event in history, bigger than the COVID event and bigger than FTX. And just like that, boom, bow, we're fucking back, baby. The corn is absolutely relentless right now. She wants to run. Massive news day to day. We got a full-blown trade war, a US dollar crisis, and BlackRock CEO talking about sovereign wealth funds and $14 trillion flooding the market.
If you're frightened of your debasement of your currency, or you're frightened of your economic or political stability of your country, you could have an internationally based instrument called Bitcoin. And so if that becomes true and you see that it could be a proper hedge against maybe hope security or equities. I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 per Bitcoin.
And guess what? Trump just started one, and he handed the keys to Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent.
I think that everything's on the table with Bitcoin. And to me, one of the most exciting things about Bitcoin is for a generation of investors who maybe post the great financial crisis have been looking for investment opportunities, or maybe they'd soured on markets. Crypto is bringing in young people. It's bringing in the people who haven't participated in markets, and having a market culture in the U.S. and people believing that markets work for them is a centerpiece of capitalism.
Yeah, those guys. The entire system is resetting before our eyes. And just when I thought it couldn't get any crazier, the DOJ actually argued that money isn't property. Yeah, you heard that right. The government claims that money, the thing you work your whole life for, it isn't yours. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, uncensorable, untouchable, the hardest money ever created. How is it we always come back to this? The endless paradox. What is money?
And, obviously I happen to believe Bitcoin is by far the best form of property, and it's obviously the best form of digital property. And I happen to believe that the best way to think of it is a capital asset. So I view it as digital capital. It's going to reshape the capital markets. And why is it a little bit better than property? Property evokes $1 billion or $100 million digital warehouse or digital building, but most people don't think that they can decompose and teleport their buildings. But capital, like treasury assets, they need to be liquid. And so if I have $1 billion on my balance sheet and I can liquidate 1% of it a day, if I can buy $1 million more worth of property or sell $8 million worth of property, as a corporation, I can use Bitcoin as a capital asset.
So if Bitcoin is property, but the government says money isn't property, then that means fiat is a scam. And the only way out? Owning the scarcest asset in the world. Today, we break down the panic, the fear, and why all of this is actually the most bullish thing for Bitcoin that we've ever seen. Send it! Let's go ahead and start with the sheer financial bloodbath that just took place. 2.16 billion liquidated across all the crypto markets, and that's likely being underreported. Bitcoin briefly dipped, but immediately rebounded and looks stronger than ever right now. Meanwhile, stocks, bonds, real estate, and the fiat system are they're crumbling before our eyes. And the media? Absolute panic mode. CNBC screaming Bitcoin was crashing. But you know who's laughing? Bitcoiners.
I guess it's possible that the Sovereign Wealth Fund could decide that they want to make Bitcoin or digital assets part of its portfolio. You're going to have to ask the incoming Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick about that. The item that President Trump asked our working group on digital assets to study is whether it's feasible to create either a Bitcoin reserve or some sort of digital asset stockpile. And so we're going to be looking at that question. We haven't committed yet to doing it, but it's one of the first things we're going to be looking at.
Because what they won't tell you is that Bitcoin is up 52% in the last 6 months. Oh, and by the way, one single measly Bitcoin now buys 1,000 barrels of crude oil. Just 10 years ago, one Bitcoin bought 5 barrels. Your denominator matters. And guess what?
Let me just finish this conversation on regulation and your new exchange. Do you expect similar regulations for commodities and other things that are traded on your new exchange as we see for equities?
I think it's going to go a little slower.
Okay.
But eventually, commodities and equities will kind of sort of merge over a long period of time, over maybe 20 years. I mean, let's face it, they don't even know how to do crypto and digital at all.
Yeah,
right? They have no idea. They still don't understand how important it is to actually get it right. You know, it's just platitudes and being on TV. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea. Bitcoin is a commodity. It should be treated like gold and like oil. It's just a commodity. Other digital currencies, different. Other digital assets, different. But Bitcoin is a commodity. But why can't they understand it? It just doesn't make sense to me.
If you remember on this exact issue, Trump said the quiet part out loud. Roll it.
I'll tell you an interesting Trump story from last night. And I won't dox the other person because it's unfair on them. But we were at a party last night. And we were chatting to somebody, and their father is a very, very famous person. I'll tell you offline. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Trump's orange-pilled this person. So people are saying, oh, Trump's just here for our votes. No, Trump's orange. So this is somebody they've been trying to orange-pill for years, right? Yeah. We were chatting to him last night. They said, yeah, no, Dad's in now. I was like, what? It's like, yeah.
Trump called him up.
Trump called up. We were like, what? Yeah, Trump called him up. Yeah, he's like, Trump called him up and he said, Bitcoin, it's the new oil. And they're in.
Petrodollar. See ya. We are witnessing the dollar collapse in real time, and Bitcoin is absorbing the chaos. Now let's talk about the real story. The trade war that just kicked off. Trump just dropped a 20% tariff bomb that had JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley saying that this could throw Mexico and Canada into recession. The currency's tanked. But that's not even the real story. What people don't get is that this isn't about tariffs. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about weakening the dollar to bring back American manufacturing and inflate away the national debt. Jay Powell doesn't want to play ball. But as we can see and know, the orange man doesn't play games, and he is forcing Powell into it via submission moves, probably a guillotine.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that. But long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We have deficits with almost every country. Not every country, but almost. And we're going to change it. It's been unfair. That's why we owe $36 trillion. We have deficits with everybody. We help everybody. We've been helping everybody for years. And to be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that. We're going to change it fast. We're going to make America great again. We have to focus on our country. We have tremendous potential if properly used, and we have to focus on our country. Tremendous deficits with China, tremendous deficits with the European Union, tremendous deficits with Mexico and Canada. And why? What's the purpose of that? Why would we have deficits? And you look at, if you look at pharmaceuticals and drugs, if you look at various products, it's much cheaper in other countries. We're not going to allow that much longer. We're not going to take it.
What all of this really means, tariffs are just step one. The real goal? A Plaza Accord 2.0, a deal to devalue the dollar, force foreign capital into risk assets, and trigger a historic flight to Bitcoin. And guess what happens when trillions in global wealth need a new store of value? Where are they going to go? They're going to Bitcoin. Now, if all this wasn't bullish enough, let's talk about the biggest bombshell of the week. But before we bring it home, look at our likes.
Three or four times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp. Share this video with Elizabeth Warren. Because if you haven't seen, she's having an absolute meltdown.
No one elected Elon Musk to nothing. Not one Democrat in America voted for Elon Musk. Not one Republican in America voted for Elon Musk. Not one independent in America voted for Elon Musk. Not one libertarian in America voted for Elon Musk. Damn, not one vegetarian in America. And yet, Elon Musk is seizing the power that belongs to the American people. We are here to fight back.
Go ahead and cheer her up. Well, we take a moment to recognize our sponsors, the masters of Bitcoin sovereignty, the Bitcoin way. If you're looking to learn how to Bitcoin, how to properly secure your Bitcoin, you might want to head on over to the newly revamped Bitcoin Way website where you can begin your road to Bitcoin sovereignty today. If you're looking to schedule a free 30-minute consultation, go ahead and use that link below in the show notes. Here we go. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink just admitted they're in talks with sovereign wealth funds about buying Bitcoin. What's Larry's price target? 700,000 cuckbucks. That's a game changer. We're talking about nations dumping billions, possibly trillions, into Bitcoin. And Trump just signed the executive order creating America's first sovereign wealth fund. As we said, to be run by Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent.
This is an executive order. Discharges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund.
It's a very exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you're seeing that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth, the people, my predecessors. We're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
Yes, sir. This is very exciting. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work, and I think it's going to be very exciting. We're going to study best practices that's done around the world. It'll be a combination of liquid assets, assets that we have in this country as we work to bring them out for the American people.
The extraordinary size and scale of the U.S. government and the business it does with companies should create value for American citizens. If we are going to buy 2 billion COVID vaccines, maybe we should have some warrants and some equity in these companies and have that grow for the help of the American people. So I bring all these things together, I think Scott and I will create an amazing sovereign wealth fund for you, sir.
Newsflash, you're not bullish enough. So let me ask you this. If you're still holding dollars, what are you doing? Oh, and I think I figured out why old Liz is so salty. Bingo! The deep state is crumbling in real time. USAID, the agency that supposedly helps poor countries, just got purged. And it appears Elon Musk has confirmed the entire thing was a deep state slush fund. Now you can see why, she's a little on edge. This is why Bitcoin exists, because when you control your money, when money is separated from the state, you don't have to watch your tax dollars get stolen to fund endless wars and regime change operations. Okay, so let's review. Markets crashing. Happens every cycle. Trade war. Just another reason for Bitcoin to eat the global reserve system alive. Government saying money isn't property. Bitcoin is. Deep state corruption exposed? Bitcoin fixes this. And keep your head on a swivel. A Q4 announcement coming from MicroStrategy. We know what happened with FASB and Tesla. MicroStrategy has a lot more coin, and with these new FASB rules, this could be absolutely insane. And we already know that MicroStrategy was buying another $500 million worth of Bitcoin to begin with. I don't know, guys.
So what do you see? What's the future, the near term and the longer term future that you envision for Bitcoin?
Oh my gosh. This thing's going to hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin, Charles. I mean, the US government is in so much debt. The way I think about Bitcoin's price equals technology plus fiat liquidity. So it's going to go up because it's innovative tech and it's better money. But what really shoots it up at a neck-breaking pace is when our government is tens of trillions of dollars in debt and has to roll that debt over. So they got a lot of money to print and financial assets are going to soar. And Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of. It's over, man. This thing's going to the moon.
You know, it's so interesting, too, because it's not just the U.S. I was just reading today, globally, these countries, these advanced nations, and all this fiat currency are going to have to spend $2 trillion on the interest alone, and they won't stop spending, Jack. They just won't stop spending money, and it's coming back to haunt them, and it's coming back to maybe people realizing fiat currency is not the place to be, huh?
Charles, this would be my message to America. Give me a second on this one. Guys, the U.S. government's got about $10 trillion over the next 2 years to roll over, refinance. That's debt. Our country's in debt. It's a huge problem. They got 3 options. 1, they could pay it back. It's not a real option because we don't got the money. We're broke. 2, our government could come out, Charles, and say, you know what, guys, we screwed up. After World War II, we changed the way money worked. We got off the gold standard. We issued debt all over the place. We got way too cocky. And actually, all of our banks don't have your money. They're insolvent. All the airlines you fly and travel on aren't actually good businesses that should be in business. Healthcare shouldn't actually be free. We screwed up. We piled on so much debt and screwed up the younger generation,
right.
and we're in huge trouble. So we're going to have to let everything fail and reset this country. Now, they're not going to do that, are they, Charles? They have a third option, which is unique to the government. They could print the money that they're missing. And when they print the money that they're missing, they're stealing from all the people that hold U.S. dollars. And so what they'll do, they'll have to do is print dollars. And the only way to save yourself is own not dollars. And that's when you see things like the S&P 500 and gold and Bitcoin soar. And so that's what's going to happen over the next 2 years. They got to print 3 times more than they did during COVID.
I love your enthusiasm, Jack. We're going to bring you back. We really do love your enthusiasm and your message. Thanks a lot for sharing it with us. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, honey.
All right, buddy.
Go ahead and look at this tweet from the creator of Time Chain Stats. These are the 2 biggest problems we face, and Bitcoin fixes this. Why? How? Well, you can learn why and how at Mining Disrupt 2025. The biggest Bitcoin mining conference on the planet, and it's coming to Fort Lauderdale, March 25th through the 27th. Get your tickets today and join thousands of Bitcoin mining professionals and enthusiasts from around the globe for an electrifying experience at Mining Disrupt. See the latest cutting-edge hardware, products, and services that are revolutionizing the Bitcoin mining industry. For over half a decade, Mining Disrupt has been the premier conference and expo exclusively dedicated to Bitcoin mining. Be part of the future and join the movement that's shaping the world of Bitcoin mining. Don't miss out. Head over to miningdisrupt.com and get your tickets today. Use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off. Oh, and the Simply Bitcoin news desk gonna be on site. I'm gonna be there. Nico and Opti are gonna be there holding it down, and we hope to see you there as well. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp by spreading the sound money gospel. Stay humble, stack sats, and reject clown world. I love you guys. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.